In this video, we are going to look at one more property of the real world social networks. This property is quite a celebrated one. This property was discovered in 1990s, where two scientists, Barabasi and his PhD scholar Albert, they were together trying to look at various different complex networks found in nature, including the web graphs, the protein-protein interaction networks, and many other kind of networks. And we're trying to study the properties of nodes in this network. That is how nodes in these networks are connected to each other. What they were trying to look at is a parameter known as degree distribution. As the name suggests, it tells us about the distribution of degrees in a network. Degree is essentially so degree of a node is the number of nodes this particular node is connected to. As in, if we are talking about a social network, if I am a part of social network, my degree is the number of friends I have. So if I have two friends, my degree is 2. In degree distribution, one tries to look at this plot, that is, how many nodes in this graph have a degree 0, how many nodes have degree 1, how many nodes have degree 2. And we try to look at this plot and how does it look like. Astonishingly, for most of the real world networks, this degree distribution looks similar. And how does it look like? We are going to have a look in this video. So let's look at the degree distribution for this karate club network. Definitely the nodes in this karate club network have different degrees. This time I am going to write a function for this degree distribution here. So I've defined a function here and I'm passing this particular graph as an argument to this function. So I want to have a look at what are the various different degrees of the nodes in this network. I'm going to use a simple function which is called nx dot degree of g, and I'm going to print it. Let's just look at the values. Now it returns me a list of tuples. So you can see here the degree of node 0 is 16, that of node 1 is 9, that of node 2 is 10, that of node 3 is 6, so on and so forth. So if you see that there are a large number of nodes in this network which are having these degrees of 2, 3, 2, 3, and then there are some nodes which are having very high degree 16, 17. So we want an overall picture of what is happening here. So we want to extract these numbers and want to look at how many nodes have degree 1, how many have degree 2, so on and so forth. Okay, so this particular function returns me a degree of all the nodes. Assume that I want to see a degree of one particular node in this network. Let me try this. Let's say I want to look at the degree of node 2, and I'm trying to print this value here and it's trying to see whether it will work or not. So it tells me here. So the degree of this node 2 here is 10, right? So how do I generate an XY plot here, where on the x-axis I have various possible degrees and on the y-axis I have the number of nodes having that particular degree. I'm going to write down here a very layman code. Definitely you can compress this code and write it in 1 or 2 lines. You can optimize this code, but I'm going to write a very raw code here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a list for the various degrees of the nodes in this network, and I'm going to run a for loop here. So I want to iterate over every node and I want to store the degree of this node in this list L. So I say for each let's say for u in g dot nodes. So this g dot nodes returns me all the nodes in this graph. I am having an iterator u which takes the value one by one for each of these nodes, and I am going to append to this list the degree of this particular node. So I'm going to write here g dot degree of u. So now I have all the degrees for all the nodes in this list L. I want to plot it now. So for x-axis, I'm taking this list X. For y-axis, I'm taking this list Y. And what I'm going to do now is just look at it carefully. I'm going to use a list and I have an iterator, let's say I in. So this L is my list here. So I'm first converting it to a set. So as soon as I do it a set L here, I get all the unique degrees, and I also convert this set to a list. So this list set L is nothing but it is a list which is having all the unique degrees in this network. And in my X axis, I'm going to append this I. In the Y axis, I want to append how many times this I comes in my list L. So I'm going to write here L dot count I. So how many times does this particular degree appear in this list over here? And then I want to see this plot. So I'm going to use a plot function, plt.plot x comma y, and then a plt.show. Just look at this plot. Let me also show you some of these values if this code was confusing for you. Let's say, meanwhile, I'm going to just up comment all this. Okay. So what is this L here? Let me just print this value of L and see what is this L here. So just have a look. What is this L? This L is all the degrees. So for node 0 degrees 16, for node 1 degrees 9, for node 2 degrees 10. So these are the degrees of various nodes in this particular network. Now let me also look at this value which I am using below, which is list of set of L. Just have a look. So when I do this, so all the unique degrees are extracted from this list. Since there are certain repetitions, so I have a unique value for every degree. Now I'm going over these unique values and I'm counting their numbers in this list over here. So for I in this list which I just printed, X I'm going to append I, Y I'm going to append its count. If you want to just even print the values of X and Y, you can print them and see their values here. So I am going to come to this plot soon. So just let's have a look at this. So this was my L. This is my list of set of L, which is also same as my x-axis, right? So x-axis is also going to be all the unique degrees, and this is my y-axis, which tells me 1 comes only one time in this list, this 2 comes almost 11 times in this list, 3 comes 6 times, 4 comes 6 times, so on and so forth. And this is the plot which is generated. So if you look at this plot, for 0 I have 0 value, so there is no node which is having a degree 0. For 1 I have 1, so there is one node which is having a degree of 1. Then there are a large number of nodes which are having a degree of 2, and after that this plot starts um, this plot start reducing exponentially, and there is only one node which is having this degree of 17. So such a kind of a plot which you see here, it's called a power law degree distribution. That is, most of the nodes in this network have a very low degree and there are only a few nodes with a high degree. So you don't see a binomial distribution or some other kind of distribution here, right? So this is how the degree distribution looks like for a real network. Let's quickly look at this degree distribution for our Facebook network also. So that will give us a better picture because this Facebook network is a bigger one. So this time I have ran it down for a Facebook network. It seems like something went wrong, although you can see a scale-free kind of a distribution here. Let me see if some what went wrong. So I'm I'm just going to have a parameter here so that I can see everything as dotted. Yeah, so here it comes. So this one looks better than before. So you can see here I have plotted individual points instead of trying to connect them with a line as it was doing before. So you can see that there are a very large number of nodes having these low degrees, and only these very few nodes in the network have very high degree. So there are these very less number of people who are popular in this network. So if you look at most of the real world networks, their degree distributions will look something like this, which is a power law degree distribution. Okay, now this was for a real world network. We have studied two kinds of synthetic networks till now, if you remember. So one was our this random graph, and the other was Watt-Strogatz model. So let's quickly look at their degree distribution also. So I'm going to take small networks, not very big for the meanwhile. Uh, okay, let me just try to execute a code with these parameters. If it will take a lot of time, I'll just reduce the number of nodes and edges here. Okay, it doesn't take too much time, but see, the degree distribution is entirely different. So what we have done here is we have created a random graph which has the same number of nodes as the Facebook network and same number of edges as the Facebook network, but when you look at its degree distribution, it's like a binomial curve. Like most of the nodes in this network have an average degree. There are a few nodes which have a very less and very high degree. So this is bound to happen because of the way it was modeled. It was modeled as a binomial probability distribution. So this random network fails in terms of degree distribution as well. What about the Watt-Strogatz model? What happens to the degrees of the nodes there? So let's also quickly do that, although you might have an intuition of what happened. Because when we make a Watt-Strogatz model, if you remember, every node has almost the same degree. It is connected to two nodes on the left and two nodes on the right. Still, let's do it and see what kind of a distribution it shows us. It also didn't take a lot of time, but do you look at its degree distribution, it is similar to that of a random graph. The difference is the number of points are very less here, and that's happening because there are a lot of nodes which are having an equal degree. So the unique choices are very less here, but again it doesn't show us a power law degree distribution. So here we see that both the random networks, which are your endostringy graphs, and your small world networks, which are your Watt-Strogatz model, both of them fail to mimic the degree distribution of the real world social networks. So in this context, there is a third model which is widely accepted and is used till even today. This is one of the, I would say, the most standard model which is used for mimicking and creating the synthetic networks. And this one is called a scale-free model, which is given by two scientists, Barabasi and Albert, as I told you, who also figured out how this degree distribution looks like. And this kind of a model is very different from the previous two models, because the previous two models, the graph emerged all at once. So you assume that there were 100 nodes in the graph. After having those 100 nodes in the graph, we were thinking about how do we put connections between them. So in random graph, we said let's put the connections randomly. In scale-free graphs, we said let's connect them as a ring, so on and so forth. But the theory for Barabasi-Albert graphs is altogether different. So this is also called preferential attachment model. Why preferential attachment, you'll just come to know. So the essence of this model is networks do not come at once. It's not like this that all the nodes are there and suddenly all the links come. Rather, this theory says that these networks also evolve like human beings with time. So initially these networks are very small, and with time they evolve into big networks, and then they define how this evolution process happens. So it's something like, let's say, new a school opens up and some students get admission to a particular degree program. Let's say it's BTech. And initially in the class, there are these three people who are friends. So assume it to be a classroom where initially there are very less people. One by one, people are coming in this class and then they are trying to make some friends. Initially, there are just these three people who are connected to each other. Then this fourth individual comes. He sees these three people and he becomes friends with one of these at random. Over a time, what happens? See, at this point, when this new individual comes, this node over here, it increases its degree slightly. Next, again, a new node comes in the network. Now, what happens when a new node comes in the network? It sees that there is one person who is having more friends than the remaining two, and its probability of connecting to this node is higher as compared to these two. So they also put it like this in this model, that whenever a new node comes, its probability of connecting to an existing node is proportional to the degree of these nodes. So in this particular case, this node is highly probable to, this new node which came here is highly probable to connect to this node. However, it can connect to the other two also, since it's a probability process. So in this case, it connected to a node here, and then one new node came, and then it is more probable to connect to these two nodes because of their high degree, and this process goes on. So over a period of time, what happens, nodes which are having a high degree, they accumulate more degree. So it's like a rich gets richer phenomenon. Like they say, if a person has more money, it attracts all the more money and the person keeps getting richer. In the same way, if a node has a higher degree, then all the incoming nodes, they try to connect more with this particular node, and its degree all the more increases. So what happens, initially the nodes which maintain a low degree, over a period of time their degree remains low, and somebody who starts increasing their degree, they become the hubs in this network. Now we can write a code for this also. So but instead of writing a code, what we'll do now, we are going to use a direct function for this, which simulates this entire process, which is not very difficult. So you can have a loop here which keeps running till you have all the nodes in the network, and in the loop you can have a logic for whenever a new node comes, it looks at the probability distributions or the degree distribution, the current degree distribution, and the probability of connecting to a node is proportional to its degree. So it can be easily implemented. What we are going to do now is, but we are going to use a direct function for doing this, and the function for doing this is similar to the previous functions. So like for Erdős-Rényi graph, we were having a direct function. Similarly for Watt-Strogatz graph, we were having a direct function. Similarly, we have a function for creating such scale-free networks, which is named after the scientists which proposed it, which is Barabasi Albert graph. And the input to this function is, first of all, the total number of nodes which you want in the network. So let's say I want these 4039 nodes. After that, we should give as input the number of edges every incoming node makes in this network. So whenever a new node comes in this network, the model assumes that it is making the same number of links every time. Okay, let me keep these links as 20 for now. And then let's look at the degree distribution of this particular graph. Now I'm going to execute it, and when you look at its degree distribution, you see a scale-free degree distribution here. So this network performs, this model performs very good in terms of the degree distribution. What about the clustering here? So we have seen that clustering was almost 0.5 for our Facebook network. Let's quickly look at the clustering of this network also. So I'm going to print nx dot transitivity of this network g underscore s, and let's also look at the average path length. So average path length is going to take some time here, but we have an intuition for average path length is going to be less in these networks, because these hubs, they are responsible for connecting a lot of nodes together. Almost everybody is connected to these hubs, so they help in reducing the path length. So I'm leaving that portion out. You can print that because it will take some time, and look at its value. So I'm going to look at these. I'm going to look at this transitivity. Okay, I missed transitivity somewhere because I have a lot of print statements in this code. What I'll do is, so that my code just waits for taking an input from me, and I can see the value of transitivity. So the transitivity in this network is actually less, which is 0.033. So although uh, we have a network which now have a degree distribution closer to the real world networks, but it fails now on the aspect of this transitivity. So what does one do? So generally one can use a nice amalgamation of all these networks, and if you will look at all these methods here, let's look at all these methods here. Give me a second, I'm going to that page. Okay, I have that link somewhere over here. Yes. So I have these graph generators here. If you look at here in these graphs, so we have these different kind of networks here. So here we have Barabasi Albert graph, which we just created. So here you see that here you have a power law cluster graph. So there is one more algorithm which was proposed by Holm and Kim. So you can just go and look at this particular function here, try to execute it. So it creates a graph which has a power law as well as a high clustering. So there are different kind of research different people have done to obtain different kinds of properties which are observed in real world networks. But again, all in all, the Barabasi Albert graph remains the most accepted one till now. We have looked some of the very basic properties of real world social networks and how do we model them. There are certain advanced properties, or we can say some mesoscale properties, which these social networks exhibit, which people are very interested in these days, and they have an enormous amount of research done on them, such as a community structure and others. So we'll take those in from our next video. And according to me, the most basic part of it is done, which every researcher in social network analysis should know. So we'll be looking at those some two or three more properties in the coming up videos, and definitely we'll also be talking about centrality measures. That is, how do you measure the importance of a particular node in a network? So that's also about to come. And later on we'll be discussing about the information diffusion model. So just stay tuned in.